Good morning, children. How are you all? Hope you all are well. Welcome to your English class. Children, in yesterday's video, we discussed scene 1 of the play Rats on a Train. What all things we discussed yesterday, we will have a quick recap of that. Okay. Now, scene 1, we learned that there was a railway coach, and in that coach, few boys were seated, and the biggest and the strongest of them was Beacon, and they were going back to school from home. As the school had reopened and they were talking about their new Sanskrit teacher, Mr. Kalikumar Tarkalankar. They don't want him to teach them. And Beacon, he says that let the teacher come. They will give him hard time. They are all talking in very excited voices, and they are very excited to go back to school, but they don't want their new Sanskrit teacher. Now, boy 1 says, look, the train has come to a halt. The train has stopped, and at this, boy 4 asks that which is this place? So Beacon says, why don't you read the board? It's Arkula. And at the station Arkula, an elderly man boards the train, okay, with his luggage, bedroll and bundles and trunk and other things. Now this man had 2 large earthen pots also. So Beacon rudely tells this man not to get into their coach, but he is telling that this coach is full, so you go to next coach. So the elderly man informs him that all the coaches are full. There isn't even place to stand in any of these coaches. That's why he has come to this coach, and he'll sit in a corner and he won't bother the children. So he had a bedding with him. So he rolls that out and sits on the floor. Okay, comfortably sitting there. And then the conversation starts. The elderly man asks these boys where they are going. So Beacon replies to this, and he is telling that we are going to sort out somebody. So elderly man asks that who is that? To this Beacon replies that he is Kalo Kumbro Tatka Lanka, and then boys all repeat after him. So elderly man, being elderly, he tells them that this means black pumpkin and red hot chili in Bengali. So Beacon says that they know that what does it mean. Okay, and then these boys laugh loudly while the man, he starts to read his newspaper. Now boy 4 says the train has come to halt again. The train has again stopped, right? The next station. So elderly man says that they have reached Asansol, and then he says I'll be back soon as he has to use washroom. So as soon as he leaves, the boy starts checking the earthen pots he has brought, and they saw that there was food in it. Thus they happily start digging his food, eating his food, and while doing so they are giggling and laughing. What would be the reaction of the man when he'll come to know that the food is being stolen? Beacon says, wait till he sees his pots plundered. Means the food in the pot has been stolen. The elderly man again enters the coach. At this, the boy 1 says, you should immediately get off this coach, as there are rats all over this place. Now elderly man was surprised. Rats? Where are the rats? Because if you remember, he had been sitting on the floor spreading his bedding. So he didn't see any rats. Okay, and just he has gone to the washroom and there are rats in the coach. So he was quite surprised at this. So Beacon says, look at your pots. See, the rats have taken away most of your food. The elderly man looks into the pots, and then boy 2 says, they have even carried away the mangoes you had in that bundle. Now, can you imagine rats carrying mangoes? Okay, so the man lifts his bundle of mangoes and he found it much lighter than before. Okay, so now he could make out that rats, in just a short span he has used washroom, in that time the rats came and they have taken the food from his pots, they have taken the mangoes from his bundle. Is it possible? So the elderly man, he understood what it was, so he smilingly said, it doesn't matter. Had I known there would be rats on this train, I would have got a larger stock of food. It doesn't matter now. So the elderly man had understood that this was the mischief of boys and not the rats. Okay, and boys were very disappointed that they were in a way caught. Right? Now, boy 3 says, Beacon, now at Bardhaman there is an hour's halt and we have to change the train. At the Bardhaman station, they have to change the train and get into another train. Elderly man says, yes, we need to change the train, and this time he is going to take a seat into a separate coach. He is not going to trouble the boys anymore. So boys together say that no, he must come along with them only, because they will guard his bundles and pots. Now how they will guard his bundles and pots, we know, right, what they are going to do with the pots. So Beacon says, we will ensure that rats don't take away the food that is left. Okay, so we will make sure of it. So the elderly man and the boys, they get off the train. Okay, children, now till here we have done in our yesterday's video. Now today we'll see scene 2. The boys and the elderly man are seated in a coach. A vendor goes past the window. The man buys the children packets of sweets. The boys take the packets, delighted at the man's generosity. Boys, hooray, this is fun. Now, the boys and elderly man, they are seated in a coach. Now they are into another train. They have changed the train, right? And as requested by the boys, so the man and the boys, they are both seated in the same coach. Now a vendor goes past the window. Vendor is a person who sells things by moving here and there. Okay, they don't have a fixed shop kind of place. So he goes past the window. The man buys children packets of sweets, and the boys take the packets, delighted, very happy because of man's generosity. He is giving them free, so they are very happy to receive the packets of chocolate. And boys exclaimed with joy, hurrah, this is fun. Then a mango seller comes to the window. The man buys mangoes for the boys and hands over the packet to them. Now for sweets, and then he buys them mangoes also. So boys are very happy with this person. Now elderly man says, the rats won't go hungry now. He has clearly told boys that I know you were the rats and you won't be going hungry now, so that's why I am buying things for you. And the boys laugh at this. Now Beacon says, looking curiously over the elderly man, tell us, where are you going? So Beacon asked this elderly man where he was going. The elderly man says, I'm a teacher, I'm looking for a job. So when Beacon asked him where he was going, he replied that he was a teacher and he was looking for a job. So boy 3 asked him, What subject do you teach? Elderly man said, I teach Sanskrit. Now, boys clapped their hands excitedly. They all were very happy to have a Sanskrit teacher because Sanskrit teacher, the new Sanskrit teacher in their school was the problem for them and they were going to sort him. So they were very happy to know that this person is a teacher and he is teacher of Sanskrit. Boy 4 says, then you must come with us to our school. We need a Sanskrit teacher. Bacon, we will not let Kalo Kumbro Tatka Lanka teach us. Elderly man, oh, but your headmaster may not wish to give me this job. Boys together, he better give you this job. Bacon, or else we will all leave his school. Now, when the boys got to know that he was a Sanskrit teacher, so they said, you must come with us to our school. Our school also needs a Sanskrit teacher. And when boy 4 said this, Bacon said, we will not let Kalo Kumbro Tatka Lanka teach us. They had made up their mind that they are not going to allow the new Sanskrit teacher to teach them. The elderly man says, but their headmaster may not wish to give them the job, okay, because he has already appointed Kalo Kumbro Tatka Lanka, so he won't need this person to do the job. Now, to this, the boys together said, he'd better give you this job. It is better for the headmaster to give you, the elderly person, job. Otherwise, these children, they all will leave the school together. Elderly man said, if you insist, I will come along with you. Look, we have reached. Now, the elderly man saw that these boys were very determined and they were very firm that they won't allow their new Sanskrit teacher to teach them, and they were so determined to the extent that if the teacher is not replaced, then they might leave the school. So, after knowing all this, the elderly man said, if you insist, I will come along with you. Look, we have reached. Now, they have reached their destination and the elderly man consoled them that he will come along with them. Okay? Bacon, looking out of the window. Why has the secretary of the school committee come to this platform? Now, when he looked out of the window, he saw that secretary of their school committee, he was present at the platform. Boy 1 said, he's probably come to receive us. Okay, on a lighter note, boy 1 says that maybe the secretary of the school committee has come to receive these boys. The children and the elderly man stand up to get off the train. The boys get off the train after the elderly man has descended. The latter is received by a respectable man, the secretary. Okay, now their station had come, so the children and the elderly man, they stood up to get off the train. Okay, so the boys allowed the elderly man to first descend the train, and then after him the boys also got off the train. Now the later is received by a respectable man. Later is the one who comes after. So see the previous sentence, the boys got off the train after the elderly man. So here the first boys have come and then the elderly man. So boys are former and the elderly man is later. So the letter is received by a respectable man, the secretary. Now the secretary of the school committee receives the elderly man. Secretary: welcome, sir. Welcome, Master Tarkalankar. I welcome you to our school. Now these are secretary's words. Okay, the secretary of the school committee, he is welcoming the elderly man and he says, welcome sir, and then welcome Master Tarkalankar. Means the elderly man is Mr. Kali Kumar Tarkalankar. He said, I welcome you to our school. And then the secretary bends to touch the elderly man's feet. The boys look at their new teacher in utter amazement. The elderly man smiles at them and pats the secretary on his shoulder. Now, the secretary, when he bent to touch the feet of the elderly man, the boys were all amazed. Okay, in utter amazement. They were like so shocked, amazed, that they looked at their new teacher, about whom they were saying all these words to him only. Okay, so they were so shocked to see him, so surprised to see him, that they couldn't say anything. They were utterly amazed because they wanted this teacher. Okay, earlier they were criticizing their new Sanskrit teacher, totally unaware that the person with whom they are traveling is going to be their new teacher, and gradually over the period of time of their journey they had started liking this person. So the boys look at their new teacher in utter amazement. The elderly man smiles at them. Now he can easily know what is going on in the mind of the boys, right? And the secretary, he was touching his feet, the elderly man's feet, so he pats the secretary on his shoulder. Right, children? So this is about the story. Okay, how the children initially they did not want their new Sanskrit teacher because they were unaware. Without meeting that person, they had made up their mind that they are not going to allow Mr. Kali Kumar Tarkalankar to teach them Sanskrit, and they are going to give him hard time and all other things they said about him. And later on, when this man, they become friendly with this person during their journey, and when they came to know that this person is going to be their new teacher, they all would certainly be very happy, because they had do you remember, they had told this person that you be our Sanskrit teacher, but we won't allow the new teacher to teach us. We want you as a Sanskrit teacher, otherwise we will leave the school also. So to this extent they were determined, and then I am sure once they have got him as their Sanskrit teacher, they would be very, very delighted and would be ready to learn Sanskrit from him. Right, boys? Now, curtain, the play is over. Remember, this is a play. So, at this, the play is over. So, this is a beautiful play written by Rabindranath Tagore. Right, children? So, for now, in this video, we are going to do up to this only, and the rest we will continue in our next video. Fine, children?
Schools are about to reopen and students are going back to school from their homes.
This is ridiculous. A new Sanskrit teacher? Certainly not. We refuse to be taught by a new teacher.
What's the new teacher's name? I believe it's Kali Kumar Tarkalankar.
We will give him such a hard time that he won't even dare to continue teaching us. Let him show up.
Look, the train has come to a halt.
What's this place called?
Read the board, silly. It's Arcola.
An elderly man boards the train. He's carrying a bedroll, a few bundles, a big trunk, and two large earthen pots.
Why are you coming in here? Can't you see that the coach is full? Go to the next coach.
All the coaches are full. There isn't even place to stand in any of them. I'll sit in a corner and won't bother you children at all.
The elderly man rolls out his bedding on the floor and sits comfortably on it.
Where are you boys going?
We are going to sort out somebody.
And who is that?
Kalo Kumlo Tatka Lanka.
Kalo Kumro Tatka Lanka.
In Bengali, this means black pumpkin and red-hot chili.
We know that.
The boys laugh loudly while the man begins to read a newspaper.
The train has come to a halt again.
We have reached Asansol.
Standing up,
I'll be back soon. I need to have a wash.
the elderly man exits. The boys get busy looking into the earthen pot that belonged to the elderly man. They happily dig into his food. They giggle and laugh.
Wait till he sees his pots plundered.
The elderly man re-enters the coach.
Get off this coach. There are rats all over this place.
Surprised,
Rats? Where are the rats?
Look at your pot. See what they have done while you were away. Mister, those horrible rats have run away with most of your food.
the elderly man looks into the pots.
And they have even carried away the mangoes you had in that bundle.
The man lifts his bundle only to find it much lighter than before. Smilingly,
It doesn't matter. Had I known that there would be rats on this train, I would have got a larger stock of food. It doesn't matter now.
the boys look very disappointed.
Bhikkhun, now at Bardhaman there will be an hour's halt and we have to change our train.
Yes, we need to change trains. Now I'll look for a seat in a separate coach. I won't trouble you boys anymore.
No, you must come along with us. We'll guard your bundles and pots.
We will ensure that the rats don't take away the food that is left.
The boys and the elderly man get off the train. The boys and the elderly man are seated in a coach. A vendor goes past the window. The man buys the children packets of sweets. The boys take the packets, delighted at the man's generosity.
Hooray! This is fun.
A mango seller comes to the window. The man buys mangoes for the boys and hands over the packet to them.
The rats won't go hungry now.
The boys laugh, looking curiously at the elderly man.
Tell us, where are you going?
I'm a teacher. I'm looking for a job.
What subject do you teach?
I teach Sanskrit.
The boys clap their hands excitedly.
Then you must come with us to our school. We need a Sanskrit teacher.
We will not let Kalo Kumro Tatka Lanka teach us.
Oh, but your headmaster may not wish to give me this job.
He better give you this job.
Or else we will all leave his school.
If you insist, I'll come along with you. Look, we've reached.
Why has the secretary of the school committee come to this platform?
He's probably come to receive us.
The children and the elderly man stand up to get off the train. The boys get off the train after the elderly man has descended. The latter is received by a respectable man, the secretary.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, Master Tarkalankar. I welcome you to our school.
The secretary bends to touch the elderly man's feet. The boys look at their new teacher in utter amazement. The elderly man smiles at them and pats the secretary on his shoulder.
So, till we meet again, thank you. Take care. Bye bye.